value, I'm not talking about self-worth. That's another topic for another time. But your value. Let me find a nice spot so I can give you detail of what I mean. So, the value I'm referring to is what you bring to the table. Said it be a skill set that you have to offer, right? If you're working on a project, for instance, me, I'm a visual storyteller. So the skill set that I have is telling stories, right? Clients specifically come to me because they don't know how to tell a story visually, right? They have this idea and they have challenging times telling that story, right? So the skill set that I have is my value that I bring to the table that helps someone else, right? In exchange for, I guess, something that they can't do on their own, right? So that's the value I'm talking about in this gym, right? A lot of us say we know our value, and sometimes we don't know, right? And that's okay. It takes time to really understand what that is and how it serves you in the world, right? Knowing your value is so important because if you don't know your value, people will try to take advantage of you. Especially in business, right? Big fish, little fish will always try to take advantage of the little fish, right? I'm not going to teach you how to know your value or hone into it. I want you to be aware of it, right? Understand what that means in yourself. And it doesn't always necessarily have to do with providing a service. It could be art, right? What you actually create. It's valuable, right? You might have so many people that say, oh, it's not worth that. But that doesn't mean that there's no value to it. Just that person doesn't see the value, but you do, right? Don't ever fold and decide, well, my prices should be lower because this person said that it's not worth it. That's not at all the value mark, right? That's not for someone else to tell you, right? It's for you to know. Right? And if someone doesn't want to pay the price for a piece of art that you create, it's fine. Someone else will see that value and you tell them the rate or the price for it and they'll pay it because they see the value in you, right? They see like, wow, this is a piece of artwork that I can't get anywhere else. It's very unique. They're invested in who you are, right? And it's something very specific. That is what value is. Something very specific that only you foster. Right? And people specifically come to you for that service, with that art piece, right? So when you know that, it's important to never fold. The industry will always try to take advantage of that if you don't know it. Now, there's another side of knowing your value, right? Understanding the market that you're in, right? So when you're starting to price your value, know where the market is, right? And if you want to upsell, that's great. But also, if you do upsell yourself, when it's time to perform, be ready to perform. Because there's another side where you have this high value, but when it's time for you to perform within that value, if you can't perform, then you're not worth that value. Get my drift? So, in a nutshell, know what your value is. Because if you don't, someone else will tell you, right? You're either going to fold to it or keep moving. That's a lesson that I have learned. I'm still learning, being in the design industry, being an artist too. And at the end of the day, I'm very clear on what my value is, what I stand for, who I am. And if someone doesn't see that value, then there's no exchange. I'm not gonna fold, right? So always remember what your values are, and don't let anyone tell you how much you're worth unless you want to get taken advantage of. Well, no, nobody does. But know your value, be aware of it, and keep moving.